Now to the coronavirus impact. Today, Kansas is reporting 993 new cases. That's the highest number in more than a week. Missouri is reporting 662 new cases today. That's down slightly from yesterday. Here's a look at the rate of positive tests in both states over the last 7 days. In Kansas, 10.3% of tests are coming back positive. 6.5% of cases are coming back positive in Missouri. Kansas City, Missouri is keeping its mask requirement in place indefinitely.
Mayor Quinton Lucas says masks are the best way to help stop the rise of COVID-19 cases in the area. And Michael Mahoney says the mayor is singling out a specific business as part of the problem.
While the number of people wearing a mask is growing, the number of local COVID-19 cases continues to rise. So the mask order stays in place.
We will learn to coexist with COVID for the time being.
With more young adults getting sick, Health Director Rex Archer says bars and taverns, one of the few social places open, are part of the COVID climb.
There is good theoretical evidence that that may be the case.
Privately, some in the bar business are pushing back. They say, look at the big crowds of protesters with few masks. And they're already limited to half capacity and most observing the city's rules. And some just think the virus has to run its course. According to the Mid-America Regional Council, the metro COVID cases are rising weekly.
I think it's fair to say we are in a spike now.
Lucas thinks 4 out of the 5 people he sees are wearing masks, and while he does not rule out another business shutdown, he doesn't hold it as a threat either.
And if you wear a mask, we avoid further shutdowns, the very types of which you're seeing in other parts of America, particularly the Southwest, and I hope not in the future here in the Midwest.
So as the number of cases in the metro continues to rise, the Kansas City, Missouri mask requirement remains in effect until further notice. Michael Mahoney, KMBC 9 News.
Wyandotte County has the most COVID cases in the metro. Kansas City, Missouri has the second most.
Despite much of the metro being under a mask mandate, there are still some people who won't wear one, citing a medical exemption. A local doctor who treats hospitalized COVID-19 patients has a message for those who don't wear a mask.
Is that if someone has such a hard time breathing with a mask on, then I would certainly worry about how their breathing would be if they contracted coronavirus. I would also say that if there are such severe symptoms that someone could not breathe with a mask, that person is probably too ill to even be leaving their house.
Dr. Andrew Schlachter is a pulmonologist with St. Luke's Health System, treating some of the worst cases of COVID-19 in our area. He says there's no excuse for not wearing a mask. It's just that simple.
And I do get frustrated when I see large crowds that are not wearing masks because I don't understand why people wouldn't want to try and help themselves or help loved ones or even strangers in their community that they think could be protected.
Dr. Schlachter says there's plenty of science behind wearing masks and it should not be politicized. He says it's just common sense.
And as someone who sees the devastation of this disease, please know that I think you're helping yourself and all of us by the minimal and slight inconvenience of covering your face.
Dr. Schlachter says he wants to speak out because he's concerned about the growing number of coronavirus cases here and across the country. He says he applauds efforts to require masks and believes they will be a part of our lives for some time to come.
The North Kansas City School District is now equipped with clear masks. The Missouri Department of Education donated them. The district will distribute the masks to teachers who work with students who are deaf or hard of hearing. And tonight we're taking a closer look at those Paycheck Protection loans handed out by the federal government.
Investigative reporter Matt Fleener is looking at a new study from UMKC showing how those loans break down by race and ethnicity.
The coffee shop was mainly to influence traffic, get people here who would never come to Troost otherwise.
At the Equal Minded Cafe,
This one's real simple.
owner Dottavius Young considered a loan from the Paycheck Protection Program, but didn't take the money.
If I take a loan, it'd be to do what I want to do with it, kind of thing, what I think I should do with it.
Young saw a new study this week showing out of more than 4,600 loans through the Paycheck Protection Program in the Kansas City region, just 24 went to black-owned businesses making more than $150,000. 34 went to Hispanic-owned firms, 33 to Asian-owned firms, 250 to women-owned firms.
You need to have a banking relationship. These loans were rolled out through the banks. So you think about all those smaller organizations where they didn't have a solid banking relationship, made it just harder to access these loans.
So that's one way to look at it, by the numbers. But the professor also is looking at this issue geographically. Black dots show PPP loans in the Kansas City metro. You see large numbers in Johnson County, even downtown Kansas City and west of Troost. But you don't see as many loans in areas with predominantly black households as seen in darker purple.
Mistrust, not enough businesses there to take the loans. Maybe they're just not getting in touch with people that they should to get the loans.
At the cafe, there's more awareness now from the study to advocate for change.
How can the businesses come together as one and make our city better? There you are, sir.
Matt Fleener, KMBC 9 News.